Hello, everybody. I have a question for all of you. Have you ever been questioned based on your background or actions? Or have you yourself ever made your own opinions about appearances or social groups? Because I'm sure we've all created our own stereotypes upon certain social groups or certain people based on their actions or background stories we've heard. My name is Alanis Artica Quickly, and you may be wondering why I'm asking you all these questions. I'm here to talk about the impact of background information or stories that you may hear from other people, as people tend to manipulate certain stories or background information to either make a social group look bad or good. The things happening in our world today is a notable example. To explain further, elected President Trump has issued many unfair orders of deportation. These orders have led ICE to racially profile individuals who look of a certain ethnicity without any background knowledge of their citizenship. The only knowledge they have on these people is just how Hispanic individuals may look, so they deport people based on how they look, basically. These orders have led ICE to racially profile individuals without having any knowledge about their citizenship in the U.S. Therefore, these actions tend to make them look a little bit racist, and seems to be like they're just racially profiling people, thinking they're criminals or of a certain gang just because they look Hispanic. So they just automatically assume they're not a U.S. citizen working hard for our country, providing for everybody, which is actually crazy. Communication in the real world states, we enter a new relationship with expectations based on the schemata we have gathered in previous relationships and learned from our larger society and culture. From Cultural Aspects of Interpersonal Communication, page 330. This quote supports my concept by highlighting individuals create schemata based on previous experiences. In this case, speaking of deportations, ICE is using their idea of how immigrants are supposed to look, which is really just the majority of Hispanics, and unfairly take them in without questioning or without due process. The point is, they've created schemata on their appearance and took the initiative of taking them in without the required due process. These actions also indirectly tell us they do not take research on individuals who have entered illegally, and they are just arresting people based on ethnicity or how they look, which shows the ICE workers themselves have an unfavorable opinion on the minority, with the only reason of discrimination being where they are from. Individuals have a tendency to take stories out of hands or background information out of hands in order to make a certain social group or individual look bad. In this case, with immigrants being deported, or even just U.S. citizens who are Hispanic being deported, they automatically assume they are illegal citizens who came here illegally or are criminals, a part of a gang. But those individuals are here to look for a better life and live that American dream, which they have the right to do. But unfortunately, President Donald Trump does not want that for anyone else except for Americans. To go on, these people come to America to escape poverty, even escape danger from the country they are living in. But they tend to get racially profiled and deported, unfortunately. To explain further, background information, stories, and personal narratives allow individuals to create schema based on previous opinions and observations and manipulate stories to make a certain social group look bad. In this case, it's Hispanic people, as they automatically assume that they entered illegally. And sure, certain schematas may be logical based on previous stories they've had in their lifetime, but it doesn't exactly explain how the social group is, as they just tend to manipulate how things are and automatically assume the whole social group is. Those schematas may be logical or not, depending on how educated the individual is and their opinions on certain aspects. Another notable example is, I went to a dance studio, and let's call this girl Layla. I went to the dance studio with this girl named Layla, right? She also went to my middle school. To explain further, I had a girlfriend in middle school, right? And she seen me be a little friendly with my girlfriend, And then she told everyone in my studio that I had a girlfriend, right? Then that led Layla to tell her mother that I had a girlfriend, and I guess she didn't really think that well of it, because at the time not many people were coming out. Everyone was embarrassed about that, and I myself wasn't exactly ready to come out yet because I kind of felt uncomfortable with the fact. But in school, I felt a bit more comfortable because a lot of my friends were out, And then that led Layla's mom, let's call her Lydia. Lydia decided to take the initiative and tell all the dance moms at the dance studio to be careful with me just because I was bisexual and I had a girlfriend in school, which was extremely weird to say of a 12-year-old. Keep that in mind. This part was also very surprising because Lydia used to be very friendly with my mom. They used to be friends, and we didn't really know she was talking bad about me, telling everybody to be careful just because I was bisexual. Basically, my point is Lydia assumed I would be a pervert just because I was bisexual, which is far from the truth because I was 12 years old, and even at this age, absolutely disgusts me till this day. And I never really knew about this till years later because my mom wanted to protect my feelings. But thankfully, someone had told my mother and we cut that off immediately. But my point is, people will judge based on previous information they've collected on a social group. For example, her opinions weren't exactly the best on the LGBTQ community, so that led her to judge me and led her to believe that I would be a weirdo towards the other girls at my dance studio, which is far from the truth. In fact, other girls from my dance studio ended up coming out too. And there's absolutely no problem with being bisexual or any other sexuality. To explain further, she collected previous information, either maybe from other people who had a bad opinion on them, maybe bad stories they have heard on the LGBTQ community, because stuff does happen. I know there are bad people out there, but she decided to create schemata on me that was absolutely not true. Communication in the real world states, just like a schematic or diagram for assembling a new computer desk, it helps you put it together. Relationship schemata guide us in how we believe. This is from Cultural Aspects of Interpersonal Communication, page 300. The example of assembling a new computer desk clearly depicts how individuals assume the outcome or schemata of a certain group with little information. To explain further. When setting up a new desk with instructions already have a predicted outcome with the information they have, just like individuals who know little information on a certain group predict or assume how they will act or the actions they will take. In conclusion, individuals have the tendency to create schemata on individuals, whether it's due to past experiences or opinions of others, or even their own opinions based on information they've gathered from either online stories, other individuals, and more. These experiences and opinions create manipulations within stories to either make individuals from a certain group look bad or look good. In most cases, that's unfortunately bad, which is extremely unfair. Therefore, be kind to everyone and don't judge a book by its cover or its manipulated reputations. To conclude, my name is Alanis Artica Quickly, and I hope you guys have a great day. It was nice meeting you guys.